Badass Granddad, episode 48.
Nice.
I don't know how you feel, but in a conflict situation, what scares me most often is not what I can see, but what I can't see. I'll tell you more about my experience in a minute, so hang in there. My name's John Graham. I'm the badass granddad you didn't know you had. I'm here to tell you more stories from my adventures and to offer some tips on taking risks and living a life with meaning, courage, and passion. Anyway, a few decades back, I was in the war in Vietnam, stationed in Hue, a small city just south of the DMZ, the line separating North Vietnam from South. And I was on a helicopter mission, flying about 100 miles west toward the A Shau Valley. Now, the A Shau Valley was important because the NVA, the North Vietnamese Army, used it to shuttle men and supplies south to support its war effort there. The U.S., of course, wanted to stop that. So it sent teams of very brave guys out into that area, and they stayed for a week at a time to reconnoiter the best places for American fighter bombers to interdict the trail. Anyway, we were out there to pick up one of these groups, and as we approached the valley, we came to a designated clearing. But we had to be really careful because the NVA could have wiped out our team and we'd be flying into a trap. So the first safety code was smoke. And as we approached the clearing, we saw a puff of purple smoke, and that was the right code for that day, Tuesday. So that was good. So the pilot comes closer and he uses his radio and he says something like, "Team 19, this is Chopper 2, this is Chopper 2. And we hear a voice from the ground saying, "Oh, Chopper 2, glad to hear you. I sure anticipate some of that apple pie tonight." Well, apple pie was the code word for that day, Tuesday. And not only that, but nobody could have faked that Alabama accent. So we feel a little bit more confident. The helicopter lands, soft landing. A group of 8 or 10 guys pile on board, and the helicopter lifts off. Now, I realized right then that those 10 seconds on the ground were the most scared I'd ever been on my whole time in Vietnam, because you couldn't see but 10 feet into the jungle. Even with all those passwords, there could be a whole regiment of NVA there, and you couldn't see them, and they could have cut us to pieces. But they weren't there, and we flew back to safety. But I could then feel the hair on the back of my neck settle down, and I could see the door gunner's fingers relax on his trigger. And I realized that often is the case. That what scares me most, and I think perhaps you, is not what I can see, not what we can see, but what we can't see. And it's true in all kinds of situations, not just in war. Take politics, for example. What Donald Trump is doing to America is pretty obvious. It's right in your face. You can see it. You can prepare for it. You can fight them. But it's what he's doing that you can't see that scares me most. And you need to anticipate as best you can. And in that way, you might ensure some success. Otherwise, you're in trouble.